Hello, good day. Welcome to Issues Reaching You from Oweleke TV. I am Miss Babazde. And of course, you know how we do it. We'll be talking about trending issues in Nigeria. Well, maybe not in Nigeria alone, internationally, but today we'll be talking about what is trending in Nigeria. And joining me today is Chris and Antonia, like they always do. Good morning, Chris. Good
Yeah,
morning,
good
Antonia.
morning. Good
Good
morning,
morning,
Antonio.
Well,
Good
I,
Mercy.
morning.
I
How are
don't
you
on that.
doing?
I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you for asking. I'm not expecting Chris to actually ask how am I doing because his face is low safe. Chris, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm
How have
good.
you been?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I like your shoes.
Oh,
Oh.
thank you. It's a pity the camera cannot capture the shoes.
No,
Maybe
please,
we'll show them.
camera,
We'll take a
please.
we'll take a picture of
It's
her.
picture and paste it on the.
Yes, it will serve as B-roll for it. Yeah.
All right, guys. So today we'll be talking about what is trending, and of course, I know you know what is trending, but what is the lead story or what is trending? Pastor Paul Enenche of the Dunamis Ministry has been trending since Sunday, and today is Tuesday. But then one would think that after Sunday everything will just die down and all of that. But then well, it looks like they've made up. That's, of course, the video that was making rounds about someone testifying in church. And she says she was the first person to graduate in her family. But then the pastor refuted it and said she did not graduate because she was asked questions about what she studied or what she graduated with. And she said BSc in law. But then it looks like they've made up like lovers because, of course, we saw pictures making rounds on the internet about she standing in the middle between the pastor Paul and his wife, of course, smiling and telling people that, oh, she has forgiven her daddy in the Lord and all of that. But then love at peace at last, I could always say. But then I'll throw the question to Chris first. Chris, what's your take on this?
Well, my take on it is the end, the peace,
Mm-hmm.
the love. You see, there is nothing wrong for human being to have misunderstanding.
Okay.
The only thing I don't find funny is when people continue to hold on
So gorgeous.
to grudges just because if God Himself, Jesus Christ, at the time was angry and He flogged people out of the
Temple.
temple because they were abusing the temple. I won't say the pastor didn't commit any wrong. Of course, he's a human too, and that human aspect of him is was what he displayed on Sunday. And then, but the most important thing again, even before she met him yesterday and the wife, or the way she was invited, even before the press release by the secretary of his PA and the secretary and his personal secretary, he had called her on phone, apologized to her, and he also promised that I was going to apologize this morning. I think the program this morning is by 10. He's going to go live again to apologize to her.
That's nice.
She will be in the church today, maybe because she's a police
She's a police
officer,
woman.
maybe she will be there and all that. But in all this, one thing I see clearly is that God has made her popular through this
Yeah.
through this you can call it not through this setback. I call it setback because as a human being, if you've been to Dunamis Church before, it's as big as a stadium. That is 1,000 capacity.
Yeah.
So you can imagine you standing on the altar and then you were asked to leave the altar. You are not
Kind
just
of
an ordinary
embarrassment.
person.
Yeah.
You are a police officer. I don't know whether she's married or not. But you can imagine the trauma she went through. This whole idea of I've forgiven my father, I don't have any grudges. Whoever that managed her to comport herself to write all those things did a perfect media job for her.
That's a strong PR.
Yeah.
There.
That is a strong PR. The first thing she wrote after that incident, if you go through it, it was like somebody who was holding something against somebody, and as time passes, the anger was reducing.
Yeah.
Up until she now said, whatever happened on Sunday, that she still hold Pastor Paul Enenche in high esteem, and he remains her father. Now that again, imagine somebody wrongs you and you still praise him. For me, it's a perfect. That meeting yesterday, that video of the woman and the pastor and his wife in the church yesterday, wouldn't just be a video.
All right, thank you, Chris. And now, Antonia, I would like to ask you a question. In all of this, it feels like a couple fight. Of course, you know what happens between a man and a woman, but then in this case, it's between the sheep and the shepherd, and that's Pastor Paul Enenche and Vera Anyim. But then, in all of this, do you think the apology they've actually put out there is enough to actually save our face from the embarrassment? That's one question. Two questions. This goes to you and Chris. In all of this, it says she has BSc in law, and then some people actually made mention about a spoken English. They said it wasn't as smooth as it should be for someone that studied law. In all of this, we've had engineers that cannot speak perfect English. I'm not saying we should be mediocres in whatever fields we'll find ourselves. But then, is this a cogent or genuine reason for you to say, well, this person is a graduate or not? Is spoken English the right way to face to say, oh, this person should be a brilliant person? Because I mean, I've met people that would speak fluent and brilliant English, and they really have nothing of this.
Okay, so I think I'll start with the second question. Education, there's something education does to you. When you're educated, it shows not only in your speech, in your character, and how you conduct yourself. So that she wasn't speaking fluently, it does not show, it doesn't mean that she's not educated, but it just, let's say, if you look at her very well, she's advanced. And her coming out to share that testimony, meaning to something that happened of recent. So this is something that is telling, and she went to National Open University where they take online courses and all of that. So this is just to tell you that probably during her earlier years when she was much younger, she didn't have that opportunity.
That's correct.
Because she said she's the first graduate in her family. So she didn't have that opportunity. So growing up in a family, a typical Nigerian setting where, for instance, education is not prioritized, what would the children be speaking? Their local language or pidgin? Or even if they pick up English language, it is from what they hear others speak. Do you understand? And they might not get the construction very well as someone who went through primary, secondary, university and all of that. They might not get the construction of sentences very well, and they might not be as fluent as others that went to school. But it just goes to show that she was determined. I would celebrate her courage, her determination to see that she was educated. She's a police officer, and as much as she didn't stop at that point, still went to get a degree in law and all of that. So I think for me that is amazing, and we shouldn't judge her. Come on, let's not. I wanted to bring up the case of the former president's Goodluck Jonathan's wife. During that time when Goodluck Jonathan was the president, there were always skits,
comic relief,
dragging the president's wife. So that she cannot is not really a proof to show that one is intelligent. It's just a part of it that you're able to clearly communicate your thoughts. It's just a part of it. Then moving on to the next question you asked.
Sheep and the shepherd.
Yeah. So it's so good. It was so beautiful to see that video. It felt like a father-daughter moment, even though the woman is advanced, but it was more like a father-daughter thing when you offend your father and you apologize, and daddy says, "Come here, my daughter," and pats your back and everything. It was so beautiful to see. Would that apology suffice? You know, like Chris mentioned, that there will be a service today, and he also promised that he was going to apologize publicly. And with the press release, that video, though it's not going to take away the shame, it's not going to take away the embarrassment, because since the internet has been hot since Sunday, since that thing happened.
It's always been, even some people are still not okay with it.
Some people are still not satisfied. Yeah, they're not satisfied. Some people are finding fault in the way the apology went.
Yes, because you know some persons have said that the apology should be as loud as the embarrassment, which is not something that is totally okay with me, because I mean, he has apologized. The first step is knowing that you did something wrong. And whether we like it or not, these men of God, they are still of flesh and blood. Whether we like it or not, maybe they are higher in the spirit realm.
I think
but then
what actually played out that day, I'm not in the mind of Pastor Paul Enenche, but I'm just guessing that what may have actually played out, what may have played out that day. I mean, he heard her talking, and in somewhere in your head, you know when somebody's talking to you and it doesn't make sense, do you understand? Or you just perceive, you're not sure, you just perceive that this person will be lying, and you ask questions. So I'm thinking, if you look at how he was sitting, he was asking at the spur of the moment, do you understand? And maybe there were cases where people have come and fabricated stories or exaggerated what may have happened to them, and he just wanted that to serve as a deterrent. But it's so beautiful to see that they've made up, and he's still her father. Even when the first tweet she posted was, "The devil wanted to steal my testimony, but Jesus won," and all of that. And it's so good to see that my father is my father, and seeing the smiles and everybody. Life goes on. It just shows that we are human. We are not perfect, and to err is human, and to forgive is divine.
All right, now over to Chris.
Well, in modern philosophy, I came across Occam Razor. I used to call him Occam of Razor. And one of his postulation is that entities should not be multiplied beyond necessity. By that, he means once there is once there is a situation, the main subject should be what people should pay attention to, not the other subject or the minor subject around it. By this I mean whether she is educated, whether she spoke well or not, the most important thing at that moment was that she has come before God to give testimony of what God has done for her.
That's correct.
Do you understand? So for me, that is where I faulted the man of God. He left while the woman came there, and then he started questioning her.
So sorry to Badin, could it be said that he judged a book by its cover because she was not looking the part of someone that has studied law, and coupled with the fact that she didn't sound she didn't sound like someone that has studied law. The dress was okay and everything.
That is what.
Then she didn't sound.
That is what I'm. It
by
narrows down to what I quoted Okam of Razor. At that moment, you don't forget about whether she has come to say, God, thank you for what you have done for me. But again, I understand. I'm not trying to maybe waive the human part of the pastor. By the way, he came to that service straight from abroad.
Okay.
Yes, he had a crusade in which country? No, tiredness. He went for a 3-day crusade abroad. And he came back Saturday night, and he was already there. If you looking at him now very well, even from that video, where if you see, you can see somebody who is already tired, and
it feels like I'm tired.
Yeah,
I'm not
tired.
Now,
no
lies. This time
exactly. So
no, that means it may have been happening. Do you understand?
Yeah, it looks like something that has
so
and he just wanted to nip it in.
Exactly. So for me, I think the men of God, last week when we were talking about Limat Abubakar and Pastor Suleiman, we also said that these people, they are human beings like us. They are just vessels that God is using to administer his grace and mercy to us. It's not like we cannot read the Bible to understand it, but we cannot understand it deeply as somebody who studies it every day, who God has given this anointing. They will always fall. They will always fail. The most important thing is that they will rise. But there was something I wrote on Facebook yesterday, and I woke up this morning and I saw that some persons were batching me left, right, and center, dragging me. And I said, it was not actually a fight for the woman, that is Veronica now. It was actually a fight against the church. Meaning, people were more interested in the pastor must apologize. The pastor must apologize. And when eventually the apology came, they started reading meaning into that apology.
No, they're
again.
Saying that they probably bribed that something.
Exactly.
Chris, remember you mentioned something like that just now. That's probably from that video. It may be they gave her something. So you're part of them.
That was, you said, what's it called? I said
he's a generous man.
He's a generous man. Somebody who he has done some Christmas. He's a medical doctor. The wife is a medical doctor. They go out for medical outreach freely. They construct road in places within Abuja and outside Abuja and all that. But what I'm trying to say is that, you're talking about shame, but me, I'm looking at it as grace. She may have been shamed from the altar, but that is a moment of grace too. And meeting her yesterday, I said, I'm not sure, but he couldn't have left her to go empty-handed without saying, okay, take this for the family, or take this to change your police uniform, or do this and that.
Take this for water.
Take this for water. And
Nigerians have a very unique way of adding, when they want to give you a gift, they just say, just manage this for water.
Take this 100K for recharge card. How do you buy 100K recharge card when you're not a senator or anything? But on a lighter note, someone just actually pointed out that imagine if this happened in Odumeje's church.
My sister. Messi, let's not go there.
You say what?
That would be another episode.
You say what?
You say what?
I didn't hear
you. All right, thank you very much, Chris, and thank you, Antonio, for joining me today on Issues. All right, our viewers at home, this is where we wrap it up for today. But then I'll leave a note with you. You never judge a book by its cover or by what people say, because, of course, apart from going to school or through school, people actually should not be judged by what they say sometimes or how they
I foresee the pastor inviting the woman to complete her testimony next Sunday.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Well.
Let's see what
That's
happens.
another angle to see from. But then this is where we draw the curtain for today. I remain Miss Babati. See you same time, same station tomorrow. Bye for now.
Follow us on our social media handles at Oweleke TV. Visit our website at www.oweleke.tv for a thrilling journey. Oweleke TV, rising star at the fairground.